because this comes basically from the heart of what you were saying. Originally, you were telling us that what you want to do, the teacher's going to teach, the teacher's going to be out the front of the class, doing all the direction, doing all the teaching.
We never said this.
Oh, yes, you did. Right at the start, your introduction.
We said lecture, demonstrate,
especially
explain,
you were saying teachers.
collaborate.
Okay, now just let me go on. Now, over the last, I don't know, 10, 15 years, we have now starting to approach this learner-centered learning, okay, which is a complete change. And at this moment, without digital, we have a problem to do this. Although everyone says it is the best way to go forward. Now, what we have found is with the student-centered learning, what a lot of people now are calling collaborative learning, it allows us to really, really get the students actually doing their own learning. This means they can go at their speed, they can do their work, what they are interested in, and go forward. This allows the teacher to actually end up as a guide. Not so much teaching and you will do this. No, the student is allowed to go forward on his own and do what he wants and is only guided by the teacher when the student has a problem. Recently there has been in America a man called Khan, who has a Khan Academy. And what he does, and he has got, and remember, this is only the early days. He has only just started this. But Bill Gates was that impressed, he dumped him $1.5 million. That's how impressed he was with the learning outcomes. Okay, so this is where we really want to go into the learner-centered learning. It's much stronger and it's much better supported.
So I would also like to build just on what my colleagues have said, and this I'd like to make very, very clear. You also have to consider that the children and the students have a different way of learning, and we have to be responsive to that way of learning. The method of learning is changing. The students are coming. I
don't think the method of the tools for learning are changing.
Let me finish. The methods of learning are changing.
But we would like to know how you're saying that. Why do you say the methods of learning are changing?
Because they are specified by the children, by the students. The students are coming. The students are looking at innovative ways to learn. And as educators, we need to be responsive to those methods.
Okay.
So we cannot keep going back again and again and again and harp on about the traditional ways and methods of learning. Those are important, however, the technological age has changed those, and therefore we need to adopt a more flexible attitude towards how we are going to be educating the future generations of
Yes,
today.
can you tell me how Facebook is holistic? If a student stays in Facebook for 9-10 hours, how is it holistic to you?
Depends
That's
what he's
social
learned.
media.
Yes, social
We're not
media.
teaching them in the classroom.
Okay.
I just want to come back at you, because at the beginning I don't want to be proclaimed as the person that promotes lecturing. I was talking about the methods. I mentioned 4 methods: demonstrating, explaining and lecturing, collaborating, and self-teaching. These are some of the methods that have been there. They have come from the time of Socrates. These are historical methods that haven't changed. Methods are the methods. These are what we use. The technology, we are not arguing against technology. Technology is a great thing. However, technology is just a mode in which we use certain methods. Self-reflection, I can teach self-reflection in a class without technology, and I can teach it in a class with technology. It hasn't changed what I am teaching or what I am trying to get at. Teaching them a comprehension piece.
I hope it's changed the way you've taught it, which is the method.
And we're getting short on time. I'm going to give the last comment to Joe, and then we'll have the summations from each person.
Okay, look, Rowlands, 2008, said that in a school setting, primary children, secondary school setting, that they consistently valued teachers, relatives, and textbooks over the internet. In Nash, DaCosta, Kinsella, 2010, said that there are more important factors than technology. There are race, socioeconomic factors, gender. These are the things that we need to talk about. And when we talk about things such as digital native, we're treating it as a fact. We're arguing, we're debating on a term that doesn't even exist. It's not even true.
We're limiting everybody else who doesn't have the ability.
So we paint it with a broad brush. We paint everybody with the same broad brush. You're from 1980. Oh, you're from 1980. That means You need quick and easy access. You need opportunities for multitasking. You need random access information. You need social networking. You have a need for instant gratification. You're more graphic oriented, and you prefer games. Now let's talk to somebody in India who has never been exposed to technology. A child living in a village, are they digital natives? No,
and that is exactly the point. They are able to be accessing technology because technology is available. And if educators don't use technology in order for that person to have access to it, then what is the purpose?
Okay, so we're to the end of our time. Have each person on the affirmative side give a 30-second summation, and then each person on the negative side. So please.
Yes, we need to incorporate and utilize technology in our teaching, but we're not imagining a world of classrooms that are individual computer hubs without any socialization. What we're saying is that our students have been plugged in their whole lives. They're used to getting information very fast. They can parallel process and multitask. They like the instant gratification. We need to adapt our teaching methods because teachers are learning the hard way that students find it very hard to sit through lectures and quietly take notes. If we take it back to something old that we actually recognize for those non-natives, in the 80s, again, Howard Gardner in his Multiple Intelligences came up with the theory that the traditional logical and linguistic style of learning didn't cater for all intelligences, and we were failing to recognize or to measure a lot of the other intelligences with our traditional tests. So he had his theory of multiple intelligences. Today, our digital natives, or our students, have used technology throughout their whole lives. They're much more tech savvy than us. My parents will ask my children to set up the video for them, for example, or to plug it in the printer to the computer. They just have those skills. So we need to change our teaching to recognize the technology smart children.
Thank you. Please.
Right
your summation.
On reflecting on all this, all I can really think about here is that a little bit from what Joe said. From the 80s, students were labelled. We taught for the 80s students, okay? In the 90s, we did a little bit. We changed a little bit. We did a little bit. We started teaching students for the 90s. Now we are in the 2000 and above. We need to change for these students because without it, they are going to suffer just like we did before. The lack of equipment and knowledge.
I think as a team we recognise that we are now living in a society which is much smaller. Travel happens, people go from one place to another, ideas are exchanged much more quickly. Students learn in a slightly different way to how they used to learn before. And as that has grown, they're starting to learn at a much more rapid pace. And we need to take that on board, and we need to take that on board seriously as educators. Because with the age of technology coming up at such a rapid pace, there are teachers in classrooms who are actually being educated by their students. And this is quite real, and we need to be very real about it. Traditional methods of teaching need to be used with the digital technology that is available. And if that is not going to happen, then we as educators are going to fail. So on a positive note, I would once again urge you to think about being more adaptable and more flexible in your learning and ensuring that you give the opportunities to the children and the students that you teach in the way in which they want to learn.
Thank you. Please.
Methods of teaching. This is basically your method of instruction. So you could use, your method could be a textbook. Is this appropriate? I don't think so. However, another method could be online teaching, and this is increasing rapidly in today's world. We need to address this, and if we don't address it, then we're going to have problems with these digital natives coming into the world and not appropriately ready for it. At the end of the day, there is a plethora of information that they have access to. They need to be taught how to weed through this information. What is good, what is bad, and what not to plagiarise. And I'll end on that.
Thank you.
Okay, so coming back to my point, which is methods are methods. They're unchanging. They change according to what you do with them and how you teach them. Okay, by her saying method is not, the textbook is a method, that's not a method. The textbook is a mode. It's the tool you use. What you're teaching from this textbook, how you're teaching, what's in this textbook, what you're doing with it. You're teaching them comprehension, you're teaching them composition. The way you teach from the textbook is not the method, it's just the mode.
Well, I want to ask you guys to think about, why do you send your children to get educated? Do we send them to kindergarten and first grade and second grade and third grade to get jobs? No. We send them to learn skills. We send them to learn skills that will help them in the future, that will help them to get jobs in the future and learn in the future. So when we look at, I'll leave the questioning of the term to Joe because he's going to get that in a second. When we say that all learning profiles are unique, when we say that we have to teach in a technological way only to all students, we're limiting some students from reaching their potential. I'll really close this off by saying that using too much technology, though I promote using technology in the classroom, does not change the teaching method. Okay, it only changes the mode, and using too much technology allows students to lose their critical thinking and problem-solving skills, which goes against what we define as the purpose of education.
Joe?
All right. Yeah, in closing, I just want to say that when we're looking at this debate, let's not forget that what we're debating here is a generational learning profile. Anybody who is subscribing to digital native and is supporting the term digital native is painting everybody born after 1980 with this same broad brush, okay? I'm not against using technology, but I'm against labeling all types of people with one learning profile.
I want to be called a student, not a digital immigrant nor a digital native. I learn from real people, real life situations, and I use technology only as a tool to empower my learning. But I learn from tradition and I learn from the basics. Online teaching, who do I talk to? Who do I ask? Who is there for me? The computer, it's lifeless.
Okay. So thank you so much to all the debaters. Could we get a round of applause? So, ladies and gentlemen, I'd ask you to take this in the spirit that it was delivered, and that is as something to spur your thinking and your further research on this. Many of you are getting ready to do a research class. This might be an interesting topic for you to consider. Certainly as professional educators, we really are faced with this challenge of determining, are we changing our methods? Are we using different tools? Are digital natives real? Do students learn differently? We have an interesting world we're looking at, and we all have to decide what we're going to do every day going into the classroom. I would ask each of you to look on your desk. You'll find a little slip of paper. Please put down on that who you think was the best debater. The best debater will be winning a one-year subscription to the Khaleej Times. And with that, I would like to thank you for attending the third Murdoch University Khaleej Times debate. Thank you so much.